Alright, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy Swagner 17. And today we're going to be going over my picks for the Week 3 NFL games. But before we do that, we might as well go ahead and recap Week 2. I apologize about my Week 2 video. I kind of really got behind that week. But we still got a video. It was just a little unorthodox, if I shall say so. But anyways, let's just get into the Week 2 picks. So right off the bat, the Buccaneers had a pretty... I don't know if I want to say impressive. It was a pretty interesting game. Had a rain delay. I don't want to say this game means too much at all. I think the Panthers are still a good team, but the Buccaneers did get a good win. A very good defense by the Buccaneers. And Cam Newton, he just does not look healthy. He's making some mistakes, and it was unfortunate for them. So I got that one wrong. Next up, the Ravens beat the Cardinals in a pretty good game, honestly. Kyler Murray has been extremely impressive for me. I don't know really. I don't understand. He's like the next Tim Tebow. I've been saying it since, last week. He's going to play terrible first halves and then for some reason just start throwing the ball like crazy and making a comeback. He almost led his team to a comeback against a really good Ravens team. But see, this is why I said we don't need to overhype the Ravens because they beat the Dolphins and now the Cardinals. So we can't overhype them until they win some divisional games, some better opponents with winning records. But I did get this one correct. Moving on, this was probably a pretty big upset for most people. I don't think anybody saw the Lions beating the Chargers. This little league that I'm in it's like a gambling thing. Nobody chose the Lions to win, of course. But that was pretty impressive. The Lions came off a tie in Week 1, and now they won a game. So I'm pretty sure that puts them top of the division. Oh, no, the Packers. I forgot. My bad. Well, the Lions are in second place in their division. They don't have a loss, technically. And the Chargers, they kind of got like 3 touchdowns called back. And I think they missed some field goal. I don't know. A pretty unfortunate day for the Chargers. I think they are still a really good team, and this was just a fluke loss. So I got that wrong. Next up, a pretty good game. This one was kind of hit or miss. The majority of people were choosing Titans like I did. After a pretty good defensive performance, I mean, they still played pretty good defense, but obviously Marcus Mariota struggled to put points on the board, and the defense did not, create huge turnovers that led to scores like they did in Week 1. So the Colts ended up winning. I got that wrong. 49ers, I was not expecting it to be such a blowout, but I did choose the 49ers. I don't want to count out the Bengals. I knew before Week 1 I said they were going to be terrible, but they showed some they showed some promise. Tyler Boyd and John Ross are emerging. They are getting lots of targets, lots of yards. Andy Dalton is looking great, and the Bengals do have a good running game. It's just up to that defense to stop teams. Oh my gosh, the 49ers, I would never say they would score 40 points, but wow. Next up, a pretty defensive battle here. Divisional game, Jaguars-Texans. This one was huge for both teams, and the Texans, skated by 1-point win. We got that correct. Next up, Vikings in Lambeau Field. Packers, I did choose them to win. Jumped out to a 21-0 lead. And they didn't score after that, but, they came up with the win. Pretty good stuff there. Vikings are not looking too good. And I was going to say, the Vikings aren't that good. It's just that the Falcons were that bad. But then the Falcons went ahead and win on Sunday Night Football. So that statement just makes no sense. Anyways, Cowboys beat the Redskins. I got that right. Nothing need to say there. Seahawks beat the Steelers. It was a risky pick. I chose the Seahawks. But, you're never supposed to choose against the Steelers when the Steelers are at home. But I did it anyways, and it was correct. Next up, I chose the Bills. Not many people chose the Bills either, but I think the Bills are a really good team. They beat the Giants, and I think they're going to continue to win down the stretch. Patriots beat the Dolphins. Obviously got that right. Dolphins scored 0 points. That's pretty sad. I mean, it would have been cool if they scored at least a field goal. Come on. Chiefs beat the Raiders. We got that. I'm not even going to talk about this game. I posted a video. It's on my channel. Probably the one right before this video. But I ended up breaking my TV over this game. It just made me so mad. And The Saints just did not ever get into the end zone. Well, actually they did, but it got called back. Anyways, the Rams won. I mean, even if they did get that, wouldn't have made a difference. But Drew Brees' injury really puts a freaking damper on the do-si-do when it comes to the Saints for the future. Anyways, got that wrong. Bears beat the Broncos. Fantastic game. I got that right. Bears won. It was insane. Eagles lost to the Falcons. I was not expecting that. But good win by the Falcons. Matt Ryan is probably one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL right now, along with Joe Flacco and Josh Rosen. But his team won thanks to Julio Jones on a screen pass and his O-line for, blocking pretty well. And a lot of interceptions, a lot of injuries in this game. A really, really weird game. And of course, Monday Night Football, Jets are just headed downhill. They looked pretty good week one as far as, their defense is good. But they couldn't stop the big play from Odell. And they cannot move the ball. They're just feeding Le'Veon. He's getting so many touches. And he ended up fumbling on their one trip to the end zone. Unfortunate. But we got that correct, which brought our record to 11-5. So now on the season, we are 23-9. Pretty good. We went 12-4 week 1, 11-5 now. We need to try to do better this week. Week 3, I want to try to get at least 13 correct. Starting off with Thursday Night Football, Titans versus Jaguars. Now, this is going to be a really good game. Both teams coming off a loss. Short week playing on Thursday night. I think the Titans are a better team, but I might have to give the Jaguars the win at home. I don't know. I recently stated that I'm not a believer in home field advantage anymore. I just don't think it's a thing. I think you got fans anywhere you go. But this is going to be a tough game. The Titans, do they lose 2 divisional games in a row? This is tough. Let me just come back to this one. We're going to choose the Cowboys over the Dolphins, of course. I'm going to choose the Bills over the Bengals. I'm going to choose... Okay, this is tough. This is a big game as well. The Lions could really solidify themselves as a football team if they somehow manage to beat the Eagles. In Philadelphia? Oh, man. I don't know. This is risky. I'm just going to choose the Lions in an upset over the Eagles. That is extremely risky, but I'm going to go with it. I think the Patriots beat the Jets. I think the Colts beat the Falcons. Vikings. That's going to be a good game. I don't know, man. Raiders are kind of hit or miss. Played well against the Broncos. Played bad against the Chiefs. I think this is a good matchup for them. Vikings, Raiders. Holy crap. I'll just go with the Vikings because they're at home. But I think the Raiders are going to put up a good fight. Alright, see, this is the first challenge the Ravens actually have. And I don't think they're going to live up to that standard. The Chiefs should beat the Ravens. And this will just prove my point. The Ravens are not as good as we thought they were. Packers should beat the Broncos. Von Miller might get a couple sacks, but Packers should win. This is a good game right here. Panthers against the Cardinals. I think the Panthers had more time to prepare for this game, and the Cardinals... this is going to be good, man. I think the Cardinals are better than the Buccaneers, honestly. The defense is probably going to shut down the Panthers again. You know what? Let's just go with the home team. Cardinals over the Panthers. Next up, Giants, Buccaneers. All right. Both of these teams need a win. So this is a good game. Let's just say the Buccaneers win. They had a lot more time to prepare. The Giants, I think the Buccaneers are going to stop Saquon. They shut down Christian McCaffrey. So I think the Buccaneers win this one. And they're leading the division, honestly. They're leading the division, especially when this next game happens. And I choose the Seahawks to beat the Saints because it's going to happen. The Saints have no chance of winning this game. We might as well just tank the rest of the season because we're not going anywhere. But yeah, Buccaneers will be 2-1, Saints will be 1-2, Panthers will be 0-3, Falcons will be 1-2, and that leaves the Buccaneers in first place. That's insane. I don't think the Buccaneers make the playoffs, but I mean, there's still a chance for the Saints or Panthers to make it. But well, Panthers with an 0-3 start. Yeah, I don't know about that, but I don't know. Buccaneers honestly might make the playoffs. This is kind of scary. Really good games for the last 4 games here. Texans versus Chargers. Both of these teams coming off crazy, or not crazy, but close games rather. Chargers come off a loss, which they probably should have won. Texans only put up 13 points. I want to say the Chargers get the job done here. I think it's going to be similar to the Saints versus the Texans. And I think the Chargers just outlast the Texans. I mean, I don't know. This is tough. The Texans probably will win, but I'm going to choose the Chargers to win at home. Steelers against the 49ers. This is going to be interesting. I think the 49ers are going to win at home. Jimmy Garoppolo won 2 away games in a row. It's impressive. And now they need to beat the Steelers, who don't have Ben Roethlisberger. And Mason Rudolph looked all right, but I don't think they have a running game. And I think the 49ers' pass defense is pretty impeccable. So 49ers shall win. Next up, Sunday Night Football. We got a good game here. Rams against the Browns. Browns are at home. This is going to be a pretty good challenge for the Browns. We're going to really learn a lot about the Browns. The Rams defense is really good. They were having trouble running against the Jets defense, who is also really good. I would say the Jets defense is a little bit worse than the Rams. So the Browns, sorry, I think the Browns will score probably 20-something points, but that Browns defense really has to shut down the run first and then make Jared Goff throw bad passes. So I'm gonna have to choose the Rams just because they're hot right now. But I would love to see the Browns win. Oh my god. And finally, Monday Night Football. 2 teams you don't really see that much on primetime, but I'm glad because I want to see the Bears beat the Redskins. Since my Saints are injured and Drew Brees is injured, I've decided I'm going to be rooting for the Bears and the Bills for the rest of the season. Just because it's nice to have teams to root for when my team's doing terrible. Anyways, those are my picks for Week 3. Next week we have some pretty good games. Eagles, Packers on Thursday night. And Sunday night we have, Cowboys, Saints. And frickin' Teddy Bridgewater is going to lose it. Bengals, Steelers on Monday night. That's pretty good. Anyways, that was my predictions for Week 3. Hope you guys did enjoy. Hope your team is doing good in football. Mine's doing terrible now that Drew Brees is out for 6 weeks. But anyways, that's going to be a video. Till my next one, freaking deuces.